This week on SUTV Overtime, the Raiders are national champion.
We just won!
That and more up next on SUTV Overtime.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Jacob Hitz, Patrick Ramsdale on a special edition of SUTV Overtime this week. As we mentioned in the open, the Raiders, national champions, field hockey, undefeated, 20-0. An incredible season that they capped off yesterday.
Yeah, and Shippensburg field hockey has just been insanely dominant, not just this year, but really have been a dynasty over the past 8 years. 5 national championships in the last 8 years. And this season, I think, is by far the best one of them.
A lot of fun watching this team, and they are losing a good amount of seniors. We will talk with Jazmin Petrantonio later on, but there is a lot up and coming that we even saw through this weekend's games, both Friday and then Sunday, Ship Field Hockey is going to be in good hands.
Yeah, Ship Field Hockey is, like you said, going to be in good hands. I think mainly the big thing that we got to see a lot this weekend, and really towards the end of the season where they really started stepping up, was Tess Jade-Lou and Valu Paul. I believe both freshmen that are both going to be at least athletically. Weird, some of them may be juniors. Who knows? It's always weird with the eligibility and with COVID and everything. But they're going to be people that they have 3 more years of eligibility, and they're only going to grow in the next 3 years.
Going to be a lot of fun to keep an eye on what field hockey has coming up down the pipeline. First, let's go back, though. Friday's games. I almost said Saturday. Wrong day. Friday night, Ship played 5 o'clock against East Stroudsburg. Rivalry game. PSAC schools going at it. Of course, earlier on, they knew that Westchester beat Assumption confidently. They were going into the championship game. For the Raiders, they were staring in the face of potentially facing the Golden Rams for the 4th time. Raiders fell behind early against the Warriors, and at halftime, the score really did not look good.
No, but I think the one thing is, and Coach Terry Zollinger said this throughout the season every time either Bill Morgul or myself has talked to her, even in the press conference after the ESU game, Shippensburg has played all season with a down 1 mentality, where their whole thing is, no matter what the score is, in their minds, they are down 1 on the scoreboard. And I think that, especially in the ESU game and in the 2 games they played in the PSAC tournament, where they were down in both of those games, has really helped them elevate this team throughout the season and allowed them to make that push against ESU in the semifinal.
Well, and they were down by 1 in the 3rd quarter, which is when that first goal came from Tess Jade-Lou. Here you see it, and a great job, Jade-Lou, from downtown pretty much, just inside the arc, fires that in.
Yeah, and you have to give credit to Caitlin Wink for setting that pass up all the way from pretty much half field, sending that straight through defenders and pretty much putting Jade-Lou on a breakaway. She got the first one, a beautiful shot, well placed, and we were saying up in the press box after the game that Jade-Lou got some pretty good vertical on her celebration, the jump there.
I like that that's what you guys talked about after the game. Not what happened or anything, the vertical on the celebration afterward. But, I mean.
Well, if you go on the Ship Raiders website and you look at the article, the front picture is of Jade-Lou, and she's up in the air on that one. It's spanned off of the picture, but just a great shot, well placed, and excellent pass from Caitlin Wink to set that up.
So that tied the game up at 1, and then they pretty much went an entire quarter with no score. Tied up at 1. You get late in the 4th quarter, just inside 2 minutes to play, and that's when you find Tess Jade-Lou again to find the back of the net. And I mean, it was at this point, here it is, Walmer to Jade-Lou. Again, that far side takes a shot. It finds its way in. And now the Raiders are back in business. Inside 2 minutes to play, they lead 2-1.
Yeah, and that shot by Jade-Lou was, I would argue, better than the first shot. Just that reverse shot, it's something that if you watch this team practice and warm up, they spend a lot of time practicing those low reverse shots because they're hard to stop for a goalie. They're weird, they're unpredictable, but it was just such a well-placed shot. And Jayla has really shown, especially toward the end of the regular season in PSACs, in the PSAC tournament, and in the national championship, that she's going to be a key piece of this Raiders team going forward.
So the Raiders survive. They beat the Warriors. They move on. They will come back Sunday in Millersville to face Westchester. Now, they've played Westchester 3 times this year, 1 out of conference, 1 in conference, 1 in the PSAC championship. A close game on the road in that out-of-conference game. Ship number 2, Westchester number 1. Ship beats Westchester 4-3. Probably one of the highest scoring games that Ship played all year long. Then Westchester comes into town here to Shippensburg. They get shut out. The Raiders come to play. They hold them to, I think, just 3 shots on the day, something ridiculous like that. And then in the PSAC championship game, the Raiders hold on again. I'm curious your mindset going into Sunday. How did you think it was going to play out?
Yeah, it was, looking at that game from the standpoint of covering this team all year, I was kind of indifferent. At the same time, you've seen how dominant the Shippensburg team has been against Westchester all year. Beat them 3 times and confidently in some of those games as well. But it's also tough to beat a team of that caliber 4 times in a row in a single season. And I think that's something that, looking at that game, is Shippensburg can do it. But you know Westchester is going to bring everything in the kitchen sink to that game.
And that's kind of what we all expected. We went into the game. The game started, 1 o'clock Sunday, and it took 90 seconds for the first goal. It came from Jenna Schlemmer. I mean, it kind of got everybody's attention right here. Shot got blocked, gets her own rebound, fires it, it goes in. Raiders lead 1-0.
Yeah, and that was something that I talked to Jazmin Petrantonio after the game, and she was saying once Jenna scored that game, in their minds, that was game over. Because if you're able to put a goal that early on the board in the national championship game against arguably, they weren't ranked number 2 in the tournament, but arguably the second best team in the country, to put a goal up that quickly, that's game over.
Well, a couple minutes later, it was Jazmin Petrantonio. Go figure. She scored a lot this season. The entry from Wink on the corner. She takes a shot from downtown, the top of the arc, and it goes in. 2-0 Ship. Now, we've seen it time and time again this year. When Yaz finds a way to score, the wall comes down, and the Raiders just keep going and going and going and going. I mean, that was the jaw dropper for me. When she scored that early, because typically it takes until the second quarter till she can find a way, just because the defense knows if we have to stop anybody, it's number 28. She came right in through, was able to find the net. It was on then.
Yeah, and that was just, I think that one especially was completely game over. In my mind, you put up the first one early, it's like, okay, Westchester, a little bit of a slow start, that was going to wake them up. But as soon as Yaz scored, 5 minutes after Jenna scored, that one, it's that you take all the air out of Westchester's tires then, and then for Valu Paul to go up and then immediately, about a minute and a half later, to score the 3rd goal of the game, it was unreal.
The wheels fell off the wagon here with Valu Paul. She's got some trouble. She just kind of breaks through, falling, puts the shot up, gets it in. By this point, it looks like it's over. Up 3-0. First quarter isn't even done. They're barely halfway through the first quarter. And the Raiders, I mean, it was incredible. I think that was the best start they've had all year long.
Oh, without a doubt, it was the best start, and especially against one of the premier teams in the entire Division II. It was just an unreal start. I was saying this before. I've been covering 3 different seasons of the Shippensburg field hockey team while I've been here, and that was the most dominant quarter I have ever seen them play. It was fantastic to watch. I was on the sideline with that camera. My jaw was on the floor as well. It was just unreal. And the crowd, a large Shippensburg crowd. SJ had the fan bus, a lot of the parents, a lot of different students as well. You had about 10 different guys from the football team, what seemed like the entire baseball team. I know Seth Crabb from men's soccer. You had every sport that can make it to that game was there, and that crowd was electric.
it certainly seemed like it. Look, going back and looking at the footage that you got, and it just an incredible place to be. It also helped that the tournament was held in Millersville this year, not like 2 years ago when it was in Erie. A little closer to home, only an hour and a half drive instead of forever. But an incredible year, 20-0, the first undefeated team to win the NCAA tournament in Division II since 2010. It's just incredible what they've been able to do this year.
Yeah, I believe only the 5th perfect season in NCAA Division II history. I could go on and on about the stats that I've seen about this team. The first team to win the PSAC championship and the NCAA championship, I believe it was ESU in 2015.
It's been a while, yeah.
It was just an unreal season for Shippensburg. And I think the big turning point for them was we were both at the game they played against Queens University, where the starters were taken out and Queens put up 2 quick goals. And that game was iffy. Since that game, Shippensburg had not allowed more than 1 goal scored on them for the entire rest of the season. And that was September 26th. And here we are at the end of November, and the most goals allowed on them was 1 in other games. It was just unreal for me. And that was definitely the turning point for their season.
It's been a lot of fun to watch this team, and of course, you got a chance to sit down with Jazmin Petrantonio about this season. You know, that was her last game yesterday in a remarkable career. Leads Shippensburg in all-time career goals. This season has just been incredible. She's beaten a lot of records, not only school records, but PSAC records, NCAA records. It's just been incredible to see what she's been able to do.
Yeah, and I think she will go down, without a doubt, Hall of Famer here at Shippensburg, greatest field hockey player in school history. But I would argue one of the best players in all of Division II history. Just looking at some of her stats are unreal. 3rd all time in scoring. I believe she finished the season with the highest goals per game average in a single season in NCAA Division II. Earlier today, I got the chance to sit down with Jazmin Petrantonio to talk about her career, winning the national championship 3 times, and plenty of other things. Here's that interview. I'm Patrick Ramsdale. I'm joined by Jazmin Petrantonio. Jazmin, just starting off, just won the national championship yesterday. How does it feel?
It's awesome. I don't think any of my words will be enough to describe the feeling. I think I actually blacked out the whole game. So, you know, it's just the after feeling. It's just great. We got to experience the game, being a national champions with this team. So, and that was my last year, and it was last year for 12 people. So, it was actually really special.
And this isn't the first time you've won the national championship. You're now a 3-time national champion in field hockey. How does that feel, just being able to, in the 4 seasons you got to play here, you won the national championship in 3 of them?
Definitely it's special, but every single year has something extra special. So my freshman year, you know, was first time around, and it was special because I didn't know what to expect. And then sophomore year comes around, and we were playing for our 5th year Mooney. Then, like you said, 2019 we didn't make it. COVID year happened, and then 2021 we were all playing for ourselves, and we were playing for all of us seniors and 5th years, and it was special because we all put so much work into it for the last 2 years. So it definitely made it special because, like I said yesterday on the interview, it came full circle. We practiced for 2 years for that moment, to celebrate that moment, and since I've been here, I'm gonna say that yesterday was the most special time. It was the most special national championship that I've ever won.
And then you talked a little bit about it, but just the whole 2019 season, and then following that up with losing that entire season due to COVID. Yeah. How much of an impact did that play into this season?
It was all our motivation. When our 2019 season came to an end, we all got together at the Cub, and we all had a meeting with all the people who were going to return in 2020 or 2021, and we decided that we were not going to move forward like that anymore, that we had to make changes to our culture, our technical and tactical hockey, and we made a plan on how to move forward, and we were all committed to that path. And I think that working towards something that it's so special to us for 2 years, every single day, where that is in practice, meetings over Zoom, off-season practices, summer packet, when everybody works towards the same goal and have that national championship trophy in between their two eyes, it's just so powerful. And I think that throughout the whole year, we put ship hockey in full display. And that's what we've been working towards, just to put Shippensburg field hockey in the highest level possible.
And for you, what has it been like playing college hockey with Valu? It's definitely funny because I know Valen since she was a little kid. I'm 2 or 3 years older than her, but we played together in Argentina, and you know, it's two different type of relationships, because back home we don't spend all day every day with each other. But here she's my roommate. We spend literally every day together at practice, so we kind of developed this big sister, little sister relationship that's so special. She's my biggest fan and I'm her biggest fan. She knows that whatever happens, I got her back. On the field, we have so much fun because, you know, nobody understands the Spanish, you know, so sometimes we have a lot of fun communicating, and, you know, it's different and it's definitely special. So I really appreciate her being here. And for you personally, what has been your favorite memory throughout your time here in Shippensburg?
I'm going to say yesterday was one of the top 3 for sure. You know, national championships and competing and winning those championships is always really special. But this weekend was actually a lot of fun. We did so many things as a team. We went to an alpaca farm, which, you know, we were like, an alpaca farm in the middle of Lancaster, come on. And then we ended up having a lot of fun. You know, it's just going bowling with the team. And then, you know, as well as we have those high highs, we definitely have our lows, and we need to acknowledge that. When we lost in 2019, you know, sitting on the 50-yard and just seeing everybody cheering and nobody else on our side, you know, that was one of those moments that it wasn't one of my top 10 or top 3, but it will always be in the back of my mind, because, you know, we never want to feel like that ever again, and I don't ever want to see anybody from the underclassmen feeling like that ever again.
And then you're going to go down as arguably one of the best field hockey players that Division II has ever seen. What does it mean to you just having just all those accolades under your name?
It's definitely special, but an athlete here at Shippensburg, I think he plays football, he said once, a personal accolade doesn't mean anything if we don't win. So to me, all those accolades that I have, you know, collected under my belt throughout these years, they mean so much more, because as a team we were successful, and because at the end of the year we had that big trophy in front of us. If things would have gone differently yesterday, honestly, those 37 goals and all these accolades would not have mean anything, because at the end of the day, as a team, we all put a little bit on to that trophy, and if we would not have had that trophy, it would have been pointless, I'm gonna say, because our common goal were not gonna be achieved, but we won, so. But no, it definitely feels special, and you hear people talking about it, and, you know, I won. It's always nice to be remembered that way, but I wanna feel like, and I wanna think that I impacted someone at a more personal level, and as long as I have impacted someone for 10 seconds, that would have mean more to me than all these field hockey accolades, for sure.
And now that your field hockey career here is come to an end, what is next for you?
I think, you know, nobody prepares you for this moment, and I think something that, you know, student athletes, I'm not gonna say struggle, but they have a different experience is, you know, okay, sports are done, what comes next? And I think that for the majority of us, we figure it as we go. You know, it's time to focus on being an adult, you know, like getting a job and trying to get a life lined up. I'm definitely staying here. I'm trying to stay around in the States to get a job here, but, you know, we're just gonna figure as we go, and whatever happens will happen. And, Shippensburg gave me this amazing opportunity to grow as an athlete and as a professional, and I don't doubt for a second that I will get out of here, not successful. I think everything will go well. It's just a matter of enjoy the ride and just figure it out as we go.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this interview. It's been awesome watching you play field hockey here for the last 4 years that I've been here. And that's going to do it for this interview. Yaz, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely, thank you.
I'd like to thank Jazmin again for sitting down with me and talking about her career and winning the national championship. We here at SUTV wish her nothing but the best in all of her post-grad opportunities.
And all of the seniors as well, because there are a lot of them on that team that are moving on. When they had senior day earlier this year, there were a lot of them. But still, there's a lot of this team that's left behind that'll be around next year, and things look very, very good. Yeah, we're a long ways away from field hockey starting up again, but if you're Coach Zollinger, you've got to be at least happy with what you got looking at next year.
Yeah, looking at the players you have that you're still going to have on this team next year, you're not looking at that roster and being upset at all. You're looking, okay, this is a team that they're going to have to work hard and they're going to push, but they're still going to be able to contend for championships.
Well, that'll wrap up our special edition, solely field hockey edition of SUTV Overtime for this week. We will be back to normal next week, and really we're only going to get, I think, one more show out of this semester before we step aside for winter break and then come back in the spring. So join us for that. That'll be next Tuesday. It should be out then. In the meantime, for Patrick Ramsdale, I'm Jacob Hitz. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your holiday, and we will see you next week. Good night.